Hey, welcome to the September 3rd, 2024 Village of Buchanan Board Meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. And also, we are going to do a moment of silence for some of our community members. I should do that first. I'm sorry. So the first will be for Donnie Mackey Jr. His father, he's lived here, I think, all his life. His family lives in the village, his wife and his children. And his father was our highway foreman for many years. And we also have Michelle Murray Simone. And Michelle was a longtime resident here, and she was married to former Mayor Sean Murray. She was a former Mayor Murray's wife, and we all knew Michelle. And the other is Paul Matthews. Paul Matthews was a longtime resident, and his wife, Sue Matthews. I know you all remember Sue. She was, 30 years, Cindy, our secretary, our board secretary. And then also, once again, Bob Ferguson. So please join me in the pledge and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. So we are going to the minutes of July 23rd, 2024 special meeting and workshop meeting. Do we have any additions or corrections on that? We good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
On a motion to approve, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is comments from the floor, agenda items only. And remember, you have to state your name in 3 minutes. Oh, is everybody shy all of a sudden?
I only have so many of these certainty shirts to bring here. How you doing? My name is Paul Woolweaver. I am the Buchanan plant manager at the Certainty Gypsum plant. I'm here today because of, I think it's agenda item number B, the resolution declaring the village board as lead agency. I think that's what we're talking about here. I'm here about the call for the public hearing. You know, we've been here a long time, Mayor and board. I have pretty much a basic request. Nina sent this on Friday, August 30th. Basically, and I can give you copies of that. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so Anthony and Nina are going to talk a little bit about the nuance of this request. Mine's a much simpler ask. So we just want you guys to do what we talked about. And that is, once you guys became lead agency, we would sit down and talk. I'm asking you to please hold off on scheduling the date for the public hearing until we speak.
Well, I can probably save you a lot of words, and Nina, I think under the circumstances, it's appropriate because I told you we would wait until we were lead agency, which we're going to declare this evening. And I think it's appropriate until we meet with you that's when we schedule the public hearing in October. So the public hearing will be in November. And that's if the board agrees with that. So it'll be another month before we declare the public hearing. Is the board okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. I wanted to keep you under your 3 minutes. And then I'm sorry, we haven't scheduled. Everyone's been busy vacations and stuff. So, Dave, if you can get a few dates, and Stephanie, and I'm sorry I didn't announce, our attorney is not here this evening. She's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Okay, so September 10th, I know, is a date that you have out there.
Is that okay with you guys?
I have to find out from Stephanie and Dave, and we'll get back to you. Okay. as we did promise to meet with you. So, okay.
I just have one thing to say before we move any forward.
Mhm.
I have my sunglasses on, not because I'm that cool, Deputy Mayor. I had eye surgery today, so just, I'm just wearing the sunglasses. I just want to let everybody know that I'm not trying to be rude.
I think you're
Thank
setting
you.
a new fashion trend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell the board next meeting, I want all of us to wear sunglasses.
Oh, that's fine. Well, we have these old fluorescent lights in here, and they actually do damage to
Yeah.
everybody's eyes. So maybe we should get some new lighting in, and then I won't have to.
Oh, there you go. Some LEDs. Okay. Okay, we've established that.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. No, I'm glad you said that
Well, I
because
don't
people
want
would be
everybody
saying
thinking I'm
like,
this idiot up there with his sunglasses. You know?
where's the sun? Okay, next on the agenda is a discussion with Frank Oliva of Optimum regarding, we have a franchise agreement that's due. The last one was 15 years. So it's 15 years later, and Frank would just like to discuss that. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. So as the mayor mentioned, we are currently in the end of existing franchise, which was approved by the Board of Trustees back in January 1st, 2009, and certified by the PSC November of 2009. It was a 15-year term, expires on November 5th. It's a non-exclusive franchise, meaning that all cable providers are able to provide service if they choose to build out the area, as Verizon did years ago. It's a dual franchising relationship. The village and the PSC have co-franchisor responsibilities, with the village doing the negotiating and approval, and then the PSC certifies and oversees, essentially regulates. Back in 2002, we provided the village with our federally required 626 letter that establishes our desire to renew the franchise, which is why we're here. This agreement allows for the Cablevision of Wappingers Falls, which is doing business as Altice USA, to occupy the public right-of-way, and we pay a percentage of our cable gross revenue as a franchise fee in consideration for that authority. The franchise fee is capped under federal law. So the federal law regulates cable. They dictate the majority of how we operate. The state has some authority as well to oversee, and then the locality has their police powers to manage their right-of-way. The franchise needs to be on a level playing field with all providers within the village, which it currently is. We serve the entire village as required by law. The franchise does contemplate the density requirements, essentially how many houses per mile, how far away from our system to serve. Essentially, every house and any new development within the village would meet that threshold. So we build to every house. We wish every house was a customer, but they're not. Hopefully, they will be soon. Once again, the agreement describes our systems capabilities, again regulated under federal law, the types of records that we are required to maintain, the levels of insurance that we're required to maintain, as well as the indemnification process, the enforcement process, transfer and renewal of terms. Pursuant to PSC regulation, this agreement has to be fair and level, as I mentioned earlier. And finally, we provide free basic cable services as a gratuity, essentially, in-kind contribution to the village here at Village Hall and at the firehouse. We also provide in the franchise support for the public education and government access channel. Happy to answer any questions. I am limited because we haven't finalized the negotiations. Can't really discuss that aspect of it, but I can answer general questions on cable franchise.
And also the highway department is down here is the cable.
That's
and could you just talk a little bit about the PEG?
sure. So we do provide,
we did provide the execution of the last franchise, and again, contemplating this franchise, a grant for capital needs of the public education and government access channel. 15 years ago, I think YouTube was at its infancy. Social media really wasn't what it is now. We didn't go through a global pandemic that required everything to be on Zoom. So from then till now, the technology on how people get their content, particularly local content, has changed. Again, 15 years ago, the cable channel was probably the only way a person that could provide public access or government access, educational access. Now with YouTube and other avenues, they can stream their content at a much lower cost, much less time consuming. You don't need studios anymore. You need essentially an iPhone and a tripod, and a connection to the link. So, it's changed, but we do still support the capital needs of the localities in which we serve. We do ask that it's again on level terms with our competitors within the community, because again, a camera bought for Optimum is going to be used just for the same camera for Verizon. So we just kind of hope that that's taken into consideration as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. And
viewership is down. At least on our channel. I'm sure on your YouTube you get exponentially higher views. We maybe if one or two people watch per month, that's probably a good month.
We do have your agreement here, so our attorney will be reviewing it, and it has to be done by November 5th, you said?
That's correct. I mean, the Public Service Commission does allow us to extend past it, and we will continue to honor the existing agreement, but we do shoot before the expiration.
Okay. All right, so the board will discuss, and we'll see where we are. Anybody have any questions?
It seems pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Dave Smith, our planner, you are up next. If you'd like to do a review of declaring the village board as lead agency.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Madam Mayor, as the board reviewed last week, the village initiated their notice of intent to act as lead agency under SEQR, which is the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Mm-hmm.
You circulated that to a number of interested and involved agencies and stakeholders. You received comments back from your planning board, who provided in writing they did not object to the village board acting as lead agency, and they also requested a joint meeting with their board. You received comments back from Westchester County. Again, Westchester County did not object to your board acting as lead agency. So what you have before you is a resolution that walks through the SEQR steps that you've taken to date. And at this point, given the discussion that you had earlier, all you would be doing is declaring yourself to be lead agency. And Cindy, I think there's one part of the resolution that discusses setting a public hearing. I think that part would be amended given the conversation that the board had previously.
Sorry, excuse
So
me.
that's right. So that's where you are, Mayor.
Okay.
The schedule, right? You would be declaring yourself lead agency.
Okay.
And that's it.
And this is for the property, the Indian Point property? Yeah, if you
Correct.
want to just so the
Yes,
public
yes,
understands.
Yeah, so the properties in question are on the west side of Broadway, essentially between Lents Cove and the village municipal line. It includes the Indian Point property, the Certainty property, and Lents Cove.
Mhm.
So those are the properties that are being considered for a modification to waterfront development district or waterfront industrial overlay district.
Okay.
And just from by way of timing, the village has been at this process for a couple of years now. It shouldn't be a surprise to members of the public, but you have been at it for a while. So the fact that you have a request from a stakeholder, property owner that wants to meet, I think that's certainly a legitimate request to be considered as part of your actions before scheduling a public hearing.
Thank you, Dave. Do any of the board members have any comments? Because I know, Dave, we have been working on this for a couple of years, and
Mhm.
this is something that we need to get in motion here. So, Village of Buchanan resolution declaring lead agency status for proposed zoning text and map amendments to create new zoning designations, WD, waterfront development, and WD industrial overlay for the properties located on the west side of Broadway and also known and designated on the tax map of the town of Cortland as Section 4310, Block 2, Lots 1 and 2, and Section 4310, Block 1, Lots 1 and 2, and Section 43.7, Block 1, Lot 1, and schedule, and that we're not scheduling a public hearing at this time. Whereas the Village of Buchanan is duly incorporated village in the state of New York and under New York State Village Law, the Village Board of Trustees, the Village Board is the responsible entity for amending the village code and zoning map. And whereas given the recent closing and decommissioning of the former Indian Point Energy Center, IPAC, the village is desirous of providing the opportunity for redevelopment that is in keeping with recent development trends for similar Hudson River waterfronts located within the Hudson River Valley. And whereas the village has commissioned the drafting of proposed zoning text and map amendments that would allow for a reimagined waterfront or would otherwise permit an existing industrial use to continue to operate for the properties located west of Broadway, the proposed zoning amendments. And whereas the village board has discussed the proposed zoning amendments during regularly scheduled meetings, and whereas Article 12, Section 211-53 of the Code of the Village of Buchanan provides for the process and procedures for amendments to the village's zoning code, and a draft of the proposed zoning amendments, along with other supporting documentation, has been prepared for public review and comment. And whereas the village board under Section 700 of the New York State Village Law and Article 1221-53 of the Code of the Village of Buchanan is the only duly authorized legislative body that has the authority to approve the proposed zoning amendments. And whereas after review of the proposed action, the village board acknowledged that there are other interested and involved agency as those terms are defined under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, or Part 617 of the New York State CRR, that should be notified of the village board's intent to act as legal agency. And the village board did circulate a notice of intent to act as lead agency using all due diligence to the following. So Village of Buchanan Planning Board, Town of Cortland, City of Peekskill, Buchanan Fire District, Verplanck Fire District, because that whole area is Verplanck Fire District, Westchester County Department of Health, Westchester County Department of Planning, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, New York State Department of State, and the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And whereas the village board did receive comments back from the Village of Buchanan Planning Board and the Westchester County Planning Board, neither of which objected to the village board assuming the role of lead agency under SECRA, and the village board did also receive comments from one of the affected property owners within the proposed area to be rezoned. Now, therefore, it be resolved that hearing no objections, the village board does hereby declare themselves to be the lead agency under SECRA and to conduct a coordinated review. And be it further, okay, we're eliminating the public hearing, so we're not scheduling it this month. Resolved that the contents of the proposed action have been posted on the Village of Buchanan website, and that any correspondence on this matter be directed to the village administrator's office, 236 Tate Avenue, Buchanan, New York. So, on a motion to approve this, can I have a second, please?
Second.
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the village board will be lead agency. And Dave, also, I'd like to follow up to set up another tour in Tarrytown, because Tarrytown experienced something similar to us with the GM plant closing. I think I would like to see
Work with
set up,
Marcus on
yeah,
that.
coordinate something and, whatever board members would like to go to see what they've done down there would be great. And then also with the planning board, if they want to have a joint meeting, I think that would be good because they bring different experience and expertise. And, I know they have some comments on this also. So we'll see when we can coordinate, whether at a board meeting, at a workshop, or before a board meeting. Let's see what we can set up to have a joint meeting with the planning board. Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions for Dave? Are we good? Okay, I think you're good, Dave.
Thank
You're
you.
good to go. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Dave just came back from vacation today, so we appreciate you're here, Dave.
Good for you.
Okay, the next. Geez, half of the audience is leaving. I wonder why. Good night. Okay, our engineer George Palmer is here this evening, and we're going to be talking about a change order as recommended by our village engineer for a road improvement project. So, George, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Would be change order 1 for intercounty contractor. It's in the amount of $30,507.75. It's to do work, curb work, sidewalk work, decorative pavement on White Street, and to do some curb work up on Rockledge Avenue. The numbers that they gave, the intercounty gave us, seem reasonable and comparable to other bids that we received in the past. And we discussed this at the workshop meeting, and any kind of discount for the decorative, I think the board was not in favor of doing the lesser of taking out the decorative pavement and leaving it in. So
Yeah, because I think it was what,
it
$5,000
was
difference. It
minimal
was
amount
very
of money,
minimal.
so-
Yeah, it wasn't gonna look right. I think
Yeah.
We were all pretty much on the same page on that.
So that's so the contractor's coming back in, I believe, 2 weeks. They finished the work up on Seward. We had a water leak up on Shed Place. The water department's still working on fixing the leak, trying to locate it. Hopefully they can locate it and the contractor come back and do this work. Another work. We had a valve that was replaced in front of the
Post office.
thank you, in front of the post office. So we're all set to do, except for we found a pipe when we were fixing the valve in front of the post office. It overflowed, it went down into a catch basin and went into someone's yard, which it always did. But this time when it went down there, it started backing up. And we went down there, Scotty and his team went down there to clean it out. And I don't think they ever found the end of the pipe. Is that correct? Or-
Looks like it was filled in.
Looks like it was filled in. So in talking to Marcus and Scotty, maybe the thing to do is to go right down the street. There's a manhole down the street. There's enough grade to get down the street, just to put a pipe from that catch basin to the one down the street and leave everything in the street and get everything off we don't even have an easement on this property.
No, what it looks like happened was there was an open drain that went behind the property on Tate Avenue.
Is that the one next to the post office?
Across the street.
Across the
from the post
street.
office.
Across the street.
So the water drain across the street onto like an open brook that ran underneath Route 9A. And what happened was when they opened up the hydrants to find the leak, the catch basin filled up and the water didn't drain. Actually, the water went down to the next catch basin. So we had Cook snake it.
Yeah, I saw Cook.
And we Cook snake it. When it snaked it, junk started bubbling out in this person's backyard. So it looks like they filled in their backyard and covered up the open brook area. So, but we have no easements. It was done many, many years ago. So we're trying to see if we could run the drain down Tate Avenue to the other drain, which is in front of Fat Sal's. And that opens up to the back, and then that goes behind Route 9A. So we're going to be working to see if we can get that done.
From what I can remember, all that whole strip on that side from Fat Sal's, all those properties, I thought that all tied into the back end state because there was some drainage back there.
It goes under 9A. It
Right,
goes
yeah, yeah.
behind Patzell's under 9A behind there, and then it goes into some more drains, goes down White Street, and then it
And
goes
it goes
behind
where the
Wick
bulletin board,
building.
the bulletin board property was.
Oh, yeah.
It would drain there and then drain underneath Route 9A.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it looks like some people filled in that drain because when cooks started jetting it out, mud and bottles and garbage started popping out in somebody's
Yeah,
backyard.
that was a big problem many years ago, that area. That was,
So putting a pipe down the
Yeah.
street just eliminates that, and then
Eliminate.
you'll have one discharge behind Fat Sal's, and
Good.
that's it. So,
Good.
We got to make sure we got to get an easement for that one. That's the other thing.
well, the other thing, yeah, I don't think we have one for the
No, we
Fat
don't.
Sal's.
No.
So we will eliminate one, but we'll still have a drainage. But the drainage been there since 1972 at least.
At least.
That's when our maps go back
Mhm.
to. So
It's amazing because the catch basins never really failed until
correct.
So now-
What probably happened was that if it rained a lot, the water would just drain down to the next catch basin. Nobody even paid attention to it, but they ran along the curb
I
line.
know, but if we had tremendous amount of rain and it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
strange.
And you sure that it's not a failure in the pipe? Did they camera it? Did
They
you-
cameraed
They
it.
cameraed it.
It ended in a dirt wall. And that's why they tried to snake it out and then it started bubbling up on the other side.
I think that's been filled in.
This drain was,
Oh, Bob would
this
know.
actually drains between the house on Tate Avenue and White Street.
Right,
And then it
correct.
goes out towards the old billboard property.
Correct.
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 And then the two catch basins up by Fat Sal's, they cross and go behind Fat Sal's also?
Correct.
They don't go towards the water the other way?
No,
Parking lot?
No,
no.
it goes towards to Route 9A.
Hmm.
We found the
If
outlet.
the
to
drain
that.
is not failing at all, then it's not working.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just eliminate the drain.
So so there's two catch basins, one across the street from each other. They go through a property. They were draining into a brook, and now whoever owns it was filling in the end of the pipe, and now it just fills up and bubbles out and goes down.
I mean, I don't see why, if it's never failed and it's never been a problem, why are we gonna dump a ton of money into it when we could just eliminate the drain?
Oh, eliminate
The two catch
the two
basins.
catch basins entirely.
Oh, there's only two? There's two hooked to it?
There's two. Yeah, there's two.
It just seems funny why it hasn't failed.
The
If
water,
there's
Well-
two there,
the water does
and there's no
overflow.
other release from any of the catch basins? That is the only release point.
That's for those two that are across from each other. That releases across, right?
Yeah, the one that's on the same side of the street as the post office feeds to the one
The
across
North
the street,
Street.
from it, which feeds into the yard.
Yeah, right.
And
It does the same
none of
thing.
it runs back towards 9A.
No, they've been
Only
filled in.
only when it overflows.
The only time it runs back towards 9A is once it gets into the yards and follows out towards the property.
All right, I've never noticed it overflowing.
Neither did I.
Neither have I. Well, the years I've worked here, it's never overflowed.
So it's going somewhere.
Well, it used to. So because when they ran the hydrant
Well-
to replace it,
Well, I believe that a lot of those homeowners back there back in the day used to always complain about their yards being really wet. I think a lot of that rain we're talking about with the big storms would just get there and kind of get absorbed by the property and go nowhere.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah,
curb
'cause
line
it-
there.
Yeah, because it's a low-lying area, but there's no house there any longer either.
Right.
So,
Well, it's even before there, where it's releasing.
yeah,
It's right, the
yeah,
house just past the circle on the right-hand side, it's behind there, isn't it?
yeah. Right behind the Christmas tree,
That-
there's a house, and then there's one behind. Yeah,
the
one behind that.
smaller house.
Yeah.
Right.
smaller
I mean,
house.
It's never really exposed itself before until this happened.
That was
Yeah.
Andy Myers' house.
I think there was some filling in that kind of happened over the years too.
Or recently, because like everyone's saying,
So what are we
never
looking
noticed.
at from a cost perspective of tying in another pipe? And rather than, like what Anthony's saying, is just,
Well, that's a prepaid job, right? That part of Tate? Are we
I'm sorry.
paving it?
we were going to pave that as part of the.
So
project.
are you looking to add another change to Intercounty to do this work?
Correct. We got to get a.
I get a number from them before we make any more decisions on that.
Mhm.
How many?
Sure,
feet do we have
absolutely.
To go from one catch basin to the other there. About
It's
100?
about 100 feet.
And even though there's no house there, somebody bought that property, the house that we had to take down, they bought that property. So I guess you could still develop on it. I don't know the size of the lot.
Oh, the one that was on White Street?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
And actually, a small piece of that property is still owned by a billboard company.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
There's a piece of the billboard company that's there too. So,
George, I'm not second guessing you at all. I just feel like, where's this water going? Are we missing something?
I don't know where it's going, to be honest with you.
Last July, we had 4 inches of rain in a half an hour,
Yeah, absolutely.
and there was no problem there.
I agree. And now we have a problem because I don't know when they filled it in, but like Marcus said, the end of the pipe, they can't find it. They can't find the end of the pipe. The highway department looked for it all day.
It's in dirt. So
When they made the parking back there is probably when they filled it in.
Do you think it's possible the grade from the post office going towards Fat Sal's is going that way? And when we get these heavy rains, it's getting to the other catch basin there and going out?
But it would flood that first.
Yeah,
It would have to flood that.
right.
No, it would flood there, but if it's graded towards
That's correct.
9A, the water.
Yeah, the surface water would go, but the
The-
basin would flood.
That's
The
correct.
basin, yeah, that's what happened. That's when they realized there was a problem because they were fixing the hydrant. The catch basin filled up and then it started, instead of flowing out behind the house like it usually does, it started going down the street and everyone's like, oh, what's going
Yeah, I
on
drove
here?
by when they were there.
Yeah, and Sharon got a couple phone calls.
Yeah, Bob, I hear
Yeah,
it's going that way. You're right,
But you're
but
right,
it's
yeah.
just like,
All of a
The
sudden.
catch basin is gonna fill up first no matter what.
but it's going somewhere.
Hmm.
But all of a sudden, it seems to be a problem. I don't know. I guess there's no other pipe going anywhere, huh?
That's what our maps show it going in that direction. And we haven't, I don't remember ever doing any work on that road. That road was done when the circle was done 30 years ago. I don't think we've touched that road since. So I don't think we haven't put a pipe in it. So that I know.
And those maps are all up to date.
Oh, well.
That means no.
There's parts of that map that we update when we can now. Before, it took a lot. You had to survey something, put it on a map, and now it's a little easier when we have plans and we do a project, we update what we see on the road or whatnot. We update it so that there might be a pipe there from somewhere else, but guys looked in it, they
There's
checked
only
it.
one pipe going out straight to the backyard. They
So-
opened, they went into the catch basin.
Cook checked
And
it,
they-
the highway guys checked
And
it,
they cambered it.
and they cambered it. So
Do you think it just seeps into the ground? Because that was all kind of like wetlands back there for years.
who knows?
We're missing something, Teresa.
Yeah, right? I don't know what it is.
So-
What's
so-
wrong with this picture?
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
if we run a pipe connecting the two pipes on that side of the road, that'll eliminate going into that person's yard.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Which is kind of maybe something we should be thinking about anyway, because now is our water causing damage to someone else's property?
Yeah, and as
Just
Marcus
to-
and I talked about, if we don't have an easement,
Oh, no.
Well,
Well,
it's
that's
right.
where it should be going anyway.
that's
Yeah.
where it should be going anyway.
Yeah.
So if we don't have an easement, they're gonna give us a hard time.
I
And
agree
they're
with
not
Anthony,
gonna
let's-
open it up. And
Let's
so
get a cost on it, and then
why not cost it out? And so we reached out to Intercounty. So hopefully we get a price soon.
Okay.
I would agree with them doing the work, just because it would be, efficient for
While
their,
they're here.
while
Yeah.
they're here,
Oh, yeah.
because if it's gonna be a job that you'd have to bid, because it's gonna be a big number. That pipe is, very expensive right now. What is that, 18-inch,
No, it's only a 12.
12? All right, so you're looking at about $800 a length. Yeah. So,
10 grand, maybe.
yeah, I think a little more. So you'll be under a bid. I thought it was an 18-inch pipe.
No,
All
yeah,
right.
it's 12. So yeah, it's 12 crossing the street and it's 12 crossing the street at Fat Sal's. The plan shows a 15 going behind Fat Sal's, but that's actually we updated that plan because it's actually got a manhole now. It didn't have a manhole on our plan and it's a 15 going behind Fat Sal's. So we could
That
do-
goes again, the surface water there. If you estimate the surface water, calculate the gallonage and the 100-year storm, maybe we want to upgrade to 18-inch pipe.
Well, you'd have to go 18 to the behind Fat Sal's to 18. So,
Yeah.
or you could put the 18 in now and then do it later.
Yeah, that's all.
So
Why you have it open, just get it in.
either way, the only problem with putting in the larger pipe, we're at the depth that you could run into either water service or a gas service from the houses. So the smaller pipe is a little nicer because
You're a little crammed there, right?
yeah, you can go up, can work your way between the utilities a little better.
a lot of utilities there.
So yeah, you got 3 or 4
So
houses.
it's
So you have the sewer,
one off
you have
the
sewer,
main.
water and gas utilities. So we were gonna do some exploratory work and find those utilities to make sure we're, because it's small for a reason. Usually it means they're trying to weave in and out of something, so.
Hmm.
Or stay out of the groundwater because you don't want to go too deep with the groundwater.
Can I just ask a quick question while we're talking about this vicinity? So where are we with the parking lot?
So we did some test pits out at the parking lot last week. Scotty and thank you for the help of the DPW for going out there. They found some silt, some blocks. Apparently, the story is from Scotty, whose father owned the gas station, is that was a fill area. They used fill material. And I reached out to our geotech guy, and he said, well, how is it? And I said, well, it's been there since 1970. He said, well, how much has it settled? I said, well, some pockets here and there. He said, well, his thought is, well, it's okay that the material isn't pristine. He said the key is the settlement. You should dig those areas that have settled a little, see there's no organics in there or something crazy that, would cause future settling. If there's no organics there, then you build on top of it and go up. He said you could go another level and start doing borings and see how deep the material is and all this stuff. But he said, due to the history of the years that it's been there, most of the settling that's happened has happened already. So it's just you're getting this pocket here and there. And I went out there tonight again, and there's a spot to the right. As soon as you pull in, and there's a spot right by the handicapped lot that's seemed to be more of a depression than anywhere else. But the rest of it,
Closer to the street, too,
Yeah.
right, is pretty
yeah. So the one's close.
prevalent.
Yeah, that one's got a good dip to it, and then on the right, there's got a good dip to it too.
Yeah,
So
that one concerns me because somebody getting out of a car.
yeah. So those 2 spots, we should take a look at, and if there's no organic material there, because that just tends to continue to break down, build them up, and go right on top of it. So,
That lot's due. It's due.
it's
for-
due. It's due. It is very due. And then the other thing is we have the surveyor going out there to locate the boundary lines.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we're not over the boundaries. We don't want to build something on
Yep.
someone else's property. And he was supposed to be out here. He was out here today for the Verizon, because 9A, we have the Verizon conduit, and they got to locate the edge of the conduit. So we're going to have the surveyor and the Verizon people out here at the same. He should have been here at 3:00 today, but I think he's coming back tomorrow, the day after, to survey the parking lot. We may need a wall because we're going up a little bit to flatten it out, so it's the 5% that parking lots are supposed to be, to so your car door doesn't open and you're not, trying to push something up hard and comes down. So 5% is the max you want to be, and the end of the parking lot. So most of it, about half of it is at 5%. The other half is about 8 or 9%. So we're going to bring that up a foot or two. In theory, you'd like to grade it. You don't want any walls at all. I know our
Right.
plan showed some walls, but in theory, you'd like to just, even if you get permission to go on someone's property, you'd like to say, oh, let's grade it and make that work. If that's, if the property owner, I'm going to talk to Marcus about contacting these people if we're over the line there. If they're not amenable to that, then you put something like a wall in there, but you don't want to put something heavy. Probably like a gabion wall, which is just baskets and gravel in there, and you can put something like that. Let the water runs through it, right?
I was just going to ask, what are we going to do for drainage?
Yeah,
Just build it up, slope off the edges and just put a rail there.
sloping it is the way to go. First, if, like I said, unless the property owner says, we don't want you on our property, then you got a problem. So, but
Well, I mean, the toe is gonna run. The top will be where it is.
where it is, it'll probably be on our side, but
Mhm.
the toe, we might be 5 feet onto somebody's property with 6 inches or a foot of soil. That's not a whole lot. So usually people are,
Just cover with topsoil.
usually people are okay, are good with that. So but before you do that, you should let them know, a couple of inches of topsoil or a foot of topsoil is not a big deal. So
Yeah,
grading is the first option, and then the second option is trying to put in some type.
All right, so we're gonna have to figure out a direction to go there. So,
Yeah, so we have a little bit of time before the contractor comes back,
Yep.
so we've got to
All right.
talk to some people, and I know Anthony and I are trying to get together to come out there at some point in time, to look at it some more, talk about it some more.
And that's another area there where there was a billboard.
Yeah,
So that's another.
yeah, that's right. There
Property.
was one there.
So, and
hopefully,
it's not much. It's a sliver.
yeah,
And they really have no use for it, but
yeah, that's in between the shell and there's a little sliver of land in there.
Hmm.
So we were talking at one point about purchasing it, but
I can't find who owns that. Try to contact, make phone calls, emails, no response.
you know what? I'd have
Really?
to, we could ask probably Gary Bell.
Wasn't a Clear Channel at one point?
It was.
Gary might know because Gary was involved in getting rid of the billboard. So maybe. Food for thought. And okay, so anybody have any other questions on that? Because I have a
No.
few questions for you, George, so don't go anywhere today. So I'd like to make a motion to approve change order number 1 as recommended by the village engineer regarding the 2024 road improvement project in the amount of $30,507.75 with Intercounty Paving Company Incorporated. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, thank you. The next is the sewer pipelining. If you'd like to
Sure.
go over that, George.
we did put out a bid for pipelining of sewer mains. August 22nd, we received 4 bids. And it is for 2,055 linear feet of sanitary sewer pipe, cured in place pipe. The low bidder was In Situ Technologies at $112,750. This amount exceeds our ARPA fund amount, which was $101,000. So we're going to be able to use up our ARPA money to cover the cost of this. So the village just has to put up the other $11,000 to cover the balance. And we checked the references. They've done work in other municipalities. They're satisfied. Other municipalities are satisfied with their work. And they recommend that they use them in the future. So we recommend them as well. And this is the work. This is the sewer lining along 9A from basically the Albany Post Road pump station up to, excuse me, it's the Albany Post Road pump station on the east side, all the way up, not all the way up, but from about
Before the Iron Bridge.
Yeah, right, before the Iron Bridge, by White Street, all the way up to the Carbone site. So that's where it's from. So that's where the 2,000 feet is. And this eliminates or reduces the flow that's going to be put in the system by both AMS and the Carbone property, Village Square.
And this is still part of the consent order, the lining of the
Yes,
pipes?
Yes,
Okay.
this is part of our year 5.
That's what I was going to ask you where we were. I thought
Year
we were out at 5 years. So then we'll have complied with the DEC consent order,
So
or are they going to
we're
look for
going
other
to
stuff?
submit our calculations to them. We give them our annual calculations about what we reduce every year. This should reduce it another at least 14,000 gallons per day. And I think we're pretty close to what we told them we'd be at, maybe a little bit under, but
I don't remember what the total gallon is.
we gave them an estimate that we would be somewhere near, I want to say 300,000 or somewhere around there, and we're close to that now.
Okay, good. We want to keep them happy.
Want to keep them happy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion awarding the sewer pipe lining as recommended by the village engineer to Institute Form Technologies LLC in the amount of $112,750. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
George, what I wanted to ask you, Gallagher Street, where are we with the two curbs that were,
We took a look at those two curbs that are on the radius. There is some chips in them from the roller. We've gone back to Frank and he hasn't gotten back to us about when he's coming back. So we have to meet up with him to find out what we're gonna do. Because
Are they, George, are they cracked down all the way down? Is it
they're
complete all the way through the?
it's like chunk
no,
almost out of it.
it's some chips out. It's some it's
I mean, there is a repair for that. You know,
There is.
It's a very common repair. But if the curb, I was under the impression that the curb was cracked,
they
that it was broke.
so no, it is chipped. It is not broke, like it's not a structural crack all the way
Yeah.
to the bottom. It is chipped. They came back once. They did a repair. The repair came off within a weekend. They repaired it like on a Thursday or Friday. And by Monday or Tuesday, it was the workshop meeting. I went out there before that, and two of the three were chipped out or fell out already, and the neighbor came running out, cornered me, said, "What are we doing?" Said, "We gotta work. We gotta come to a resolution on it."
There is a vertical repair kit for curves like that.
There
It's
is.
vertical cement product that is, if he does it now, it will kind of keep up with the color. But that's up to him to figure out. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
So there is Sika products. You need bonding agents.
go.
And then there's a Sika that you put on there, and there's something you add to the concrete, a mortar mix that you put on there that does a nice patch, and you can broom it. But it seems like he did it once and was not successful at it.
I think he used Portland. That's why.
Maybe.
And so the good thing is, we'll see how it gets, whatever he does. We'll
Yeah.
see how it gets through the winter, but we have a 2-year bond?
We have a 2-year bond, but the discussion is to have it fixed before the winter, so you see how it holds up through the winter,
Right.
and you want to see how it holds up at least 2 winters. That's, the reason for a 2-year bond. So,
That's the game plan.
so that's the game plan. We're still discussing it with the contractor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for following through on that.
No problem.
The other thing is you mentioned Verizon conduit 9A. Does that
So-
have something to do with the poles that are, because they have to start taking off those communication lines, Verizon and Best Web. There's another company now.
No, so
This is something different.
this is something different. So when we put out a survey, what's supposed to happen is Verizon is supposed to come out, all the utility companies are supposed to mark out all the utilities. So Verizon didn't mark out their underground, surveyor didn't pick it up. So now we found the Verizon lines, and we said, well, you got to locate the edge of it, because our sewer looks like it's almost under it right now. So they should have never even put the Verizon lines on top of our sewers. But we have to locate the edges of it so that we know where to put our sewer pipe.
So how much is Verizon going to pay us back for us maintaining the integrity of their lines while we do our project?
That's going to be a discussion with the board and them, because I can only locate it, inform you where we're at and tell you, here's where so we're in the process of saying, okay, here's your Verizon line, and the surveyor was supposed to be out here today to locate the edges of it. And then we locate our sewer. We say, okay, wait a second. You're either over us or next to us, or we can work around it. And then, like you said, in one of the other meetings, okay, how are we going to maintain it, and how are you going to compensate us for maintaining your lines? That's
they
a
have to
discussion
compensate.
for you guys to have with Verizon, but I'm just going to gather the information for you right now so you can have that discussion with them.
Are you figuring that they're interfering with is there interference?
It is so close. Lines on the paper, when the surveyor picks stuff up, they're going off of as-built and maps. And then right now we're at the point where it's so close. It's within a foot in some places, 5 feet in others. So that's why we have the surveyor out there. So today they were digging, supposed to find the edge of their edge of their duct bank, locate that edge, and then our surveyor is going to say, okay, our sewer line is, how many ever feet away from it? And then you guys take it from there, I think.
And how deep are we over there?
So our sewer is about 7 feet deep. Their duct bank is about between 2 and 4. They have a bank of 12, which is 3 by 2, and they have multiple duct banks, and they have wooden duct banks, and they have 3 different duct banks under there. They have plastic, they have, you name it, under there, wood. They have all sorts of stuff under there. It was just amazing to find out what they had.
Wow. And that goes out to the village circle there where they have their panel, all that
I'm not
stuff
really,
that comes in.
they actually have a vault under
Right,
there.
a
So
vault,
they have
yeah.
a vault at the end of White Street from where the
Oh.
new Orlando is. They've got some huge vault under there, and apparently they go all the way up towards the shopping center, way under the Iron Bridge, and keeps going that way.
Wow.
But not only that, they have on the poles as well. So you look up, you say, oh, this, like the gentleman earlier said, there's Optimum, there's AT&T, there's Verizon. Everybody's got lines, and we don't have great service. I don't understand it, but
I don't know either.
there's a lot of utilities. That's the bottom line. So,
Okay.
and old. I mean, wooden duct banks are old, so it's perplexing. So, but that's where we're at.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for George?
Mayor, if I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
mind.
Yeah.
George, there was some issues with the contractor with putting hay down with no seed or topsoil. And as of yesterday, they say people still haven't seen seed or topsoil on Gallagher.
On Gallagher.
Mhm.
So I know that there was brought to the contractor's attention, I want to say last week, and there were some emails back and forth, and there was some strong spirited conversations between the contractor and our inspector. And the long and the short of it is that the contractor owes us topsoil and seed, and he needs to put it down.
He drew hay
Yes.
down with no seed or topsoil
So
until one of the residents caught him doing that.
No, that's not good.
so
There's no sense in putting the hay down if you're not going to put the seed down. Like
You can
what?
cover it up. It's to me.
And then
I-
the weeds grow.
And yep.
and the weeds grow.
Yep.
So he
And
came back.
we pay for topsoil and seed when he doesn't put it in.
So
It's got to come back.
he came back once. He came back twice,
When you don't have anybody out there watching,
No.
what do you expect?
and he's not good about it because when the inspector goes away, it's like, oh, now I'll bring in my crew, and he's like, oh, well, you weren't there on Thursday, and it's this whole game.
So we should recommend that we have somebody from DPW there that we can get there just to monitor him.
That's
He's obviously got to be babysat.
yeah. The problem is,
It's not a problem.
They
It's a
come after
requirement.
3:30.
no,
or
what I'm
something.
saying is, he's coming after 3:30. It's like, oh, you're going to be there today, and he says no, and then he shows up.
Right.
So now it's trying to even coordinate.
Correct.
knowing
Oh, you
what
have
he
somebody
does.
waiting there all day. He doesn't show up.
Well,
That's
he's
right.
got
He's got to coordinate it with
but
us.
he still has.
He's
to be
supposed
paid.
to. Well, that's the one thing we
Well,
hold
yeah.
Correct.
the thing that's called money.
So if he wants to work this the right way, then that's the way it has to be done.
Uh,
But it has to be explained to him that way. The
It's,
retainment money is,
yeah, there's a good chunk of retainage out there.
there's a
and-
lot of retainage. So the retainer is, you come here and do your work the way it was contracted to, and we'll release the retainer.
Yep.
But we want a guy to be on site when you're on site.
And this is something that DPW can do. I mean, they can go out there and keep an eye on them and get up there quickly.
It'd take them one day to do the topsoil and seed out there the right
Yeah.
way. And I don't
Take
understand
no
what the,
time at all.
Well, I think the only problem that might be there is that they just pop in.
When they want to.
They would pop in when they want
Hit and
to.
miss and they're gone. You don't even know they were there.
That's
That's
right.
why it's got to be coordinated. It's called communication.
Well, exactly. And
Yeah.
obviously they're not communicating with our highway department.
With
Or
anybody.
anybody.
With anybody.
Yeah.
No,
They're not
anybody.
communicating with us either. So.
Well,
Oh, boy. This has been a real challenge.
That contractor has been a nightmare.
It's been a rough year.
Oh,
He wasn't at first.
No,
No,
he
last
was.
year, I'm
That's
telling
true.
you,
Absolutely
I
correct.
praised him
Hired
last
his
year.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
I mean, fired him, and that's when it went south.
It's
Hmm,
been really bad.
It's too bad.
Absolutely.
it's too
He was
bad.
good up on Bannon. He did
Yeah.
good work on
Did a
Bannon.
great job.
And now Sean's Lawns has got a new guy.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so.
And Teresa, there's one more thing I
Sure. Yep.
found out today,
Uh-oh.
which somewhat might be some good news. So one episode, George is still here. The contractor we found that's been very reasonable doing some work for us. We had him go down to take a look at the pavilion because to paint it. He said, now we have to go out to bid. He said to paint the beams, including the roof beams, it'll be about $45,000 to $50,000, according to this number, to paint the entire pavilion, including the ceiling, between 80 to 90,000. If that's something the board would like to go out to bid for, and
Big
he's half the price of everybody else.
Yeah, he's a
And
lot less than everyone else.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm just throwing it out
He's
there.
going to do the same process of scraping and
but he's non-union, right?
No, he's union.
Oh, he's
His
union.
prevailing wage.
He's
I haven't
prevailing
checked.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
prevailing wage.
He's non-union.
Prevailing
He's
wage.
prevailing
But he
wage.
has to pay the wage.
He's got to
Correct.
pay the wage. Yes.
And he has the equipment. He has the list. Because I asked him, does he have the borrowing the equipment? He said, no, I have it all.
The
At the
only
same
problem
time.
is when you get the prevailing wage people. We had them there when we did the garage the first time. They bring out the little rat and they get all upset because the unions get all upset.
That's what I was throwing out there. I got a number, so I just got it today. So just want to bring it up to the board.
We approved intercounty. I haven't seen any rats yet. have you?
No, I haven't.
Well, they're non-union too.
Well, they're half and half or some. They're hybrid
No.
or something, aren't they?
They're
Oh.
rat people.
They're rat people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to have big rats outside?
No, they're a good company. No, I'm not. They're a good company, but they are a non-union company.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we dealt with it last time. We deal with it again. So that's not an issue to me. So prevailing wage is what is required by general municipal law, and
Correct.
follow that, you're fine. So
That's right.
Well, something
So-
to look into.
Yeah. So I just want to give you the numbers. We'll have to go out to bid. If nothing's concrete, and so we'll go out to bid. So
Right.
just want to wanted to consider that.
So
number.
the beams were what?
The beams were 45 to 50.
45 to 50.
And what was the other quote?
He said between 80 and 90 to do the entire pavilion, everything.
And this is the same gentleman.
Beams
that's
and
gonna
the
do
roof.
the-
Correct.
less work for him. He has to segregate out each beam and not to the roof.
Yeah.
It's easier for him to just continue.
Yeah.
on.
He's gonna spray, correct?
Yes.
Probably
Yeah, just
spray.
right.
Yeah, and this is the same gentleman that's going to do the
Yes.
fire escape.
Yep. And he talked to our,
Did the
he's
office.
talking to our paint guy.
Yeah, Sherman Williams,
Follow the
representative.
exact directions given by Sherwin Williams to prepare the area and then to paint it. at the
Yeah.
Well, if
right
we
temp-
put out a scope,
Yep.
George prepares a scope and they've been on that scope anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well, for the stairs, it's as per the Sherman Williams manufacturer's specifications. So whatever Sherman Williams says you got to do to prep it, that's to make it the longest lasting product. That's what you got to do.
Mhm.
So that minimizes our work
Correct.
on it. So
Because we're into September, so and then when it gets cold, no good to be painting the metal.
No, we have to
That's-
be.
yeah, the
next year.
No, but if you get the fire escape done.
Yeah, the
now,
fire escape
and
at
then,
least.
You know, line it up for spring or
Mhm.
whatever, you know,
And thank you, Dan. You found the contractor, so thank you.
not
yeah,
a problem.
that was a
Yeah.
good find.
Yeah.
Very good find.
It's hard to find because we reach out to painters all the time and they're like few and far between. So when
Yeah.
you find one, that's great.
So this contractor will be doing the fire escape out back.
Yes.
He'll be doing Cindy's sprinkler,
That's been done.
sprinkled. Oh, it's done.
The
Good.
work, the brickwork, it looks beautiful outside.
Little nicer, huh, Cindy? Without the plastic and stuff. So good. No, I'm glad that's done. Good.
So I know you were talking about the Hawken grant, so I just wanted to just give you the numbers for the pavilion too. I know you were talking about maybe you still use some Hawken grant for that as well. That's one of the options.
Okay.
And since,
Now it falls in the parameters of
Mhm.
the money, right? Where were we at? 100,000?
yeah,
And the other
For a
bid
grant.
we got was like $200,000
It's
something?
like 250 or
250.
something. Crazy.
Wow.
It's amazing the difference
We
between.
must be using some gold flake paint or something.
Yeah, it must be some good stuff.
I thought that number was outrageous when
Yeah.
we got
It-
that number.
I was shocked when I saw that number too.
It's a
the high
matter of
number.
finding the right person. That's the key.
So,
To it all.
somebody that wants to work and be reasonable. So going back to the Harcum
That's
grant
great.
too, because I know Dan had mentioned something, but doesn't that have to be submitted by October 5th?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. So again, let's go back. The original Harcum grants that we still haven't been awarded that money yet. It's been, Teresa,
Oh,
3 years?
For the
3
bar-
years?
for the-
Well, I hear other communities and fire departments are still waiting
Waiting.
for the money. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that if this is a project, the painted pavilion is a project the board would like to consider, we can apply for the grant for that, put the money aside, and then go out to bid when we know if we get awarded, when we get closer to the award, because I don't want to go to bid now and not do a project for another year and a half if
Yeah.
the money doesn't come in. So just throwing it out there, and the board has any other projects, please remember, by the time we get the Hawkins grant, we talk about a year and a half down the road before we actually get the money, the way it works.
Yeah. It wasn't always like that.
No.
It seems like, I don't know what the lag time is
They
now.
added DASNY,
Oh, the
now they have
DASNY.
DASNY over that too, and it's a DASNY timetable that takes 8 months or 9 months before they can approve it.
Gee, maybe we could get a painted pavilion in, some new carpet and new drywall in here, all in one shot.
With that, yeah. Dan, you don't like the orange carpet? I'm shocked. I'm just
I'll
shocked.
tell you something.
We had gotten a price once before on Marcus had got for
For the rug, yeah.
the tiles, like the black tiles. But I mean, that's something if the board wants to look into that, see what kind of a price, but I know what's behind these walls.
I mean, we could do the rugs. The rugs anywhere between $8,000 to $15,000.
Probably
depending-
just plain studs, right?
depending what you want to do.
No,
Strips.
it's
Cinder block?
it's not cinder block. It's
Cement block?
it's that plaster. It's
Oh,
all kinds
plaster?
of plaster. Yeah.
Oh, from when it was a school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a Pandora box maybe, but if it's something, the board wants to look at, we can get a price.
Was the asbestos remediated?
Well, probably not, Dan.
Just the floors. The floors is
Probably
bare.
not. And that's probably why they paneled.
We might have
Okay.
to live with the paneling, but maybe.
But we could do the rugs, yeah.
Yeah.
Worry about the lead paint.
Oh God, that's right. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Pandora box.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that could be fun. All right. I think any other questions for George? We're good? All right.
Thanks, George.
Thank you,
Thanks,
George.
George.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Okay, the next, we're still working on that cell tower. But I don't know, Marcus, if you want to go
Sure.
over the Center for Municipal Solutions to review the lease for the cell tower.
Yes, since we were submitted a lease from a cell tower company, there's some research on the managers, and they gave us a proposal company that reviews leases for municipalities, looks at the terms and conditions of the lease, look at the zoning code, works with the village attorney, and then gives recommendations back to the village attorney regarding the lease. Stephanie, I gave this to Stephanie as well. Stephanie she's okay with it as well. It's an hourly base rate. The lease is pretty standard. And then Alicia can come back with comments on the lease that Stephanie can review and get back to our leasing company. This is no cost to the village. That's what we got the $5,000 escrow to pay for both Stephanie's time and this third-party company to review everything. So since we have the lease, if the board approves this, they can get on this right away, get back comments to Stephanie, and then we can move the process along regarding the leasing company for the tower.
And that's good. I know last Tuesday they dropped off the money.
Correct. And you guys met with this company a couple months ago over Zoom.
Right.
Okay, good. So I'd like to make a motion to retain the services of CMS, the Center for Municipal Solutions of Glenmont, New York, to assist in the review of a potential lease agreement for a wireless telecommunications facility with Homeland Towers LLC, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, the next is a motion to approve the use of the roads for Roadrunners Club. And I was happy that our chief was able to do a route for them instead of coming all through the village. So it's a better route. We're going to have to do the logistics here because I don't want our neighbors in Verplank to get angry, but the road will probably have to be closed. And I think half hour, maybe 45 minutes or something like that. So we have to be in communication with the town, to let Verplank know. And what is that street there, Dan?
14th.
14th Street. It might have to, for that time frame, be cut off there and cut off coming in from Louisa Street area. So yeah, they were here last week, the running club. And what they'll do is they'll basically go from Lentz Cove up Broadway. I'm not sure exactly where they'll be turning around and then come back down. So it's a kind of a straight run for them. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the use of village roads to Roadrunners Club of America 2024 and its members to have a race on September 22nd as reviewed and approved by the police chief. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the next, I hadn't added this before, but I'd also like to approve the use of village roads for our Buchanan Running Club. They have their race on September 28th at 10:30, and that begins down by the pavilion. And this is their second year. So can I get a second to approve that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And it's that time of the year again, hiring seasonal help for the leaf season, and that will be from October 1st to December 23rd at $18 an hour. We will be hiring 3 people. There were 5 people that applied. The first is Jordan Macaluse Stubbefeld, John Guglio, and Sean Stewart. So can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I abstain, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right. The next is, and we've talked about this before, about developing an employee handbook, and I did have time to look at the product that they offer. And what I really liked was that they incorporated different policies and procedures pertaining to state and federal regulations, the American with Disabilities Act, discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, drug-free workplace, drug and alcohol testing, smoking in the workplace, workplace violence prevention, civil service system, disciplinary action, code of ethics, wage and hour standards, family and medical leave, workers' comp, safety and health and hazardous materials, fair labor standards. So a lot of governmental regulations, and this should be pretty comprehensive. And the price is the price. We haven't had a employee handbook, and we really need to get an employee handbook. But then as we go along, we can probably just do updates to the handbook that we have. So I'd like to make a motion to hire public sector HR consultants, LLC, to develop an employee handbook at a cost of $6,500. Can I have a second?
Second.
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, the next is we have a planning board vacancy. We had somebody had to leave. It just the time requirements. Stephanie has written something up for these boards, for the planning and zoning board. They need to go to training. The training has to be given to the village office. Their certificates that they receive for both planning and zoning board. The requirement is for attendance 80%. And what else am I missing? Training, the requirements, and usually the appointment is for 5 years. The person that left still has 4 years left on their appointment. So I am going to appoint Kieran Outhouse. I was impressed with his background, and especially with all the building going on here, I think he will be an asset when it comes to fire codes and items that deal with the fire department. So that's a mayor's appointment. And next is discussion on pickleball. So let's see. So Awilda has been spearheading the pickleball program for us. And you're asking for, so I'm just trying to get this straight. So there were originally 12 people.
Original.
Okay, 12 people. So now will those people be finished on September, is it 12th? So
Correct.
that group will be finished September 12th. Okay.
But that clinic finishes September 12th.
Okay. Now, so those people they're finished.
No, not if I get funding for another clinic. That's what
So,
I'm going to ask for.
okay. So yeah, because we'll have the discussion.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to understand. So how many more sessions do they want? Okay,
So one clinic is 4 sessions. That's 4 days. Each clinic is for an hour. These 12 participants still need more time so that they can truly understand how to play the game. The 4 sessions truly has not been enough. Those that have taken advantage of it a little more, those that knew how to play tennis, because the transition from tennis to pickleball was a lot easier for them. But I am asking for another clinic of 12 participants, which are the same ones,
For how many weeks?
4.
For 4 more weeks?
Yes. So that they can truly understand how to play the game.
So how many people are now waiting to play? How many people are?
For the other clinic that I'm going to ask for? So
Yeah,
we have
so
12
people-
current, so we
right.
have 12 current participants,
Okay,
and that's one clinic.
okay,
As of this morning, I had 10 on the waiting list. As of this evening, I have 14 on the waiting list. So I
Okay.
still have people signing up.
That's great.
Yeah, there is a big interest in it. So I'm actually asking for 2 clinics, one with the ones that are currently participating, the other for the ones that are on the waiting list. And with that clinic, the instructors have agreed to give a clinic to preteens for an hour and a half for free.
okay. So there'll be 14 that are on the waiting list. That'll be a separate clinic.
Right, but 12, of course, would be selected. So the first 12 that signed up will be the ones to participate
Okay. And then for the preteens, it would be an hour and a half.
for free.
Okay.
And with that comes the equipment, which includes paddles, balls, and nets for 2 courts. And I have to say that the instructors are really great. They have stayed beyond their time. They are working with everyone on every level that they're on.
Is it $1,000? So it's $1,000.
It's $1,350 per clinic, with the exception of the teen clinic, which is free.
So
I'm asking for $2,700.
$2,700.
That's what I'm asking for.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's all you're asking.
That's it.
All right.
So here's my question. So now these 12 people, the village is going to pay $2,700 for them.
Not 12, not the 27 for 12. You're paying 27 for 2 groups. So actually it's 24 people.
Okay, but we already spent $1,250 for the original.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is now it went up to $1,350. But what I think this is great. I love to see people participating. I think that's
You
great.
should come see how great it is. It has brought the community together.
Good.
People are making friends. We are learning. I mean, I can't get to play yet because I'll only step in if there's an empty space, which is rare. But everyone's making friends. They're enjoying their time together and they want more.
So I just want to, I'm glad these people are doing it, but just cost wise going forward, we have 2,300 people here and I'm not expecting all 2,300.
No.
So now your original group wants 8 weeks. So now the other second group will probably want.
Well, I'm asking just for 4. My goal
Okay.
is that once these 2 clinics are completed, that we can work with the instructors so that they can provide a package deal for the participants. If they would like to move forward, then they would pay for those lessons.
All right, thank you. Because I'm just, I'm looking at like
No, I
24
understand
people
that.
and
I get it. I get it.
you know.
But I just wanted to introduce it to the village,
Mhm.
to bring awareness to the village on pickleball, and the word has spread out.
Yeah, and I think everyone's happy. I know everyone that's
Yes,
been
and I've been
involved.
forwarding all of the positive feedback that I've received through emails to the
Mhm.
board, so that you see that everyone's on board. And I will show you
Oh, what do you
my
got?
pickleball binder,
Oh, good.
where I keep the insurance information, the attendance, and pictures of our residents playing pickleball. So I am
Nice.
keeping records of everything.
And what I just wanted to talk to the board about too, the equipment is not that expensive. I looked for a set of 4 paddle balls and balls, so it's not.
It
Like-
depends the quality that you want. It's like driving a car, right? You can buy a
Mhm.
cheap car, you could buy a good car.
They're providing paddles that cost
Yeah,
$300. That's what they're providing to the
And the
people right
nets
now.
are expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought on paddles. I paid $30,
Mhm.
but what they're providing to the residents around like $300 paddles when they play.
I'm just, I'm just trying to look at the
So-
cost. in
No,
the
we're not
end,
gonna
you know.
No, we're not
Uh,
providing the equipment. And just, let me just say this, we're not providing the equipment, and when we move forward, if we go with a package deal, it will be up to the residents to bring their own paddle and their
Yeah.
own ball.
Okay,
That's it.
all right.
It's just like
Okay,
the tennis.
asking.
courts. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
agree.
Yeah.
Just
they
asking.
got to bring their own rackets. We're not
Mhm.
providing.
I-
I stopped down last week. I had some time, so I stopped down and saw 12, 14 people there playing,
Mhm.
all different levels of experience playing. You can see it right off the bat, and they were having fun. And we
Good.
talked about building pickleball courts, which are going to be a substantial amount of money to build. I think it's well worth the investment that World is doing here to do. Let's get this done to really get the interest going before we decide we're going to spend that kind of money on doing something like that. And in my brain, I always think, you know how Hannah softball is, right, Anthony? It grows.
Mhm.
I can actually see possibly if this is going to blow up that much, where you start small like this and you have a little Buchanan league. You set up games on Saturday morning, whatever day they want to play.
Go on the
Yeah.
pro circuit, huh?
Whatever they can do. I was just out in
That'd be
Croton Avenue
great.
today, and they have a small little park in Croton Avenue out there that's off the beaten path. And that place is packed
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't even get on it.
Yeah.
at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, that's what I kind of see that could be the starting point of a lot of other things happening with the younger people getting involved and some of us older guys, Anthony, playing the game too.
Yeah, well, listen,
We start
I
mixing
like
with other people we haven't mixed with, and maybe it'll, bring some attention to the pool area and to the playground area and everything else too. So I think
Be
for the
nice.
small investment, what we're looking to do here to possibly make it something bigger,
Mhm.
especially the numbers were pretty big to build a pickleball court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we've used tape,
it
and
works well with
everybody's
tape.
happy. It's
So-
in the pavilion. We get to play rain or shine.
So I think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't think we have to train everyone in the village. I think that
No,
the people I noticed down there the other night, they're the kind of people that I know quite a few of them. They're the kind of people that somebody shows up to a pickleball when the guy's playing, they'll sit with you and work with you too.
Yes.
Just like
They-
anything
Yeah.
else that happens like that. So I think it's a great idea.
All right.
And I
I just
think-
wanted to have a discussion where the board wanted to go with
Yeah,
this.
I'm in agreement.
Okay.
I think it's, we've got some momentum going with it. I think it's
Mhm.
great. We're getting use out of the pavilion, and I think it's, I think it's great for the community.
I have a question for the board. The residents are asking, when can they use the pavilion so that they can practice outside of these lessons?
That was my next thought, because
So is
pavilion
that
is rain or
possible?
shine.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a discussion I wanted to have. Can we, instead of worrying about the tennis court, can we do something where we can have the pickleball in the pavilion?
The question to the board would be is, the only concern we discussed is the nets right now are portable, which somebody can pick up and walk away with them. So the idea would be, if we want to put something more permanent, we'll be to put the poles in the ground that actually get bolted into the ground, and then put the nets up, like we had the old tennis courts originally.
Yeah.
And then that way the nets can stay there permanently, and we can use the old tennis courts, put 1 or 2 pickleball courts in there. You can play.
Or you could use the basketball over there, because
Yeah.
they're not going to be playing basketball and pickleball.
Well, you could, if you put the pickleball courts where they are right now, they're
Yeah.
far enough away from the back. I think when they went,
They're closer to the ball field.
yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't want to interrupt with the basketball in case someone wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
So the pickleball courts are closer to the gate when you first come in. So we could put pickleball courts there, but I don't know if you want to keep the temporary nest there with a gate that anybody could walk away with. Or
Well,
put the,
we're closed at night there. The pavilion is closed at night, so.
yeah.
you know, we would just have to make
mean, we
it
can-
closed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if you want to leave it open for anybody can play, what hours you want to leave it open, the gates will be open. But I'm just saying, I don't want to say that it will happen, but you can walk out with these, and that costs $600 for that net. That's my only concern.
And since we have cable down there, is there any way we can get a few cameras? Because that
We
might
can-
be a
it's-
deterrent.
We can put cameras up there. The board is okay with that. We can definitely look at the wireless cameras to put them up there. Absolutely. We can do that first, and we can then.
Well, that's all over the county. Why isn't everybody, is everybody stealing them from
No,
somewhere or something?
no, all the
No,
other
my
nets are permanent.
residence.
The-
No,
our-
No, I get it. I
yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you can also.
Ours are
cut
portable.
that.
You can
Ours are
cut,
portable
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
They can play well.
Ours are totally portable. You can put them in your backyard.
Yeah, no, I get it.
driveway.
So you put a sleeve in the concrete, you put the post in the sleeve, you know, and then when camp uses it, you pull the post out of the
That's what I'm
sleeve.
saying, yeah.
And then it
That's what we
becomes-
don't have right now.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's something we should do.
Yeah.
Make it a permanent fixture, but
Yeah,
we can take them out and put them away.
correct. And that's
Let people have access to it.
$600 for the post and then the net. If that's something the board would like to consider, we can look into that more permanent structure. And then people can play whenever they want to when you leave the pavilion. Either the tennis courts open, we could use the tennis courts, or we could use the pavilion, or we could use both. I just need to determine how you want to proceed.
And then the pavilion should be open every day. It's the highway opens it up except weekends, and then the police close it at night at dusk.
Correct.
So, or sunset, I'm sorry, at sunset.
Correct.
Weekends also.
And we,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's open, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so could you check on the price for the nets and see where we can go with that?
Sure, but the post and the nest
This
is,
way they can practice.
for the post and the nest, the permanent post and nest is about $1,000. Depending on how many you want to do.
We've got money in the rec fund too.
Yeah. You just tell me how many you want and where you want them in the tennis or the old tennis courts were, or you want it in the pavilion.
Yeah.
Whatever the board decides.
I don't know so much about people walking out with them only because when they're gonna be walking out in broad daylight. Because it's open it's closing at dusk,
Mhm.
and it's opening in the morning, so.
We can
I don't
open,
know.
we can leave it
Those
open now.
people around the
And
door,
yeah.
just see someone walking on the street with pickleball courts over the shoulders.
We got one, like I said, we got one,
But you never
we have one temporary net right now. We can leave it open. See, and if it stays there, people can play.
I'll look into a locking mechanism where you can put a sleeve in the ground, lock it up. And
Yes.
at the end of the season, take it out.
Take the pull out, yeah.
For the camp. And
Yeah.
I think we should do multiple pickleball courts at the far end of the pavilion.
Yeah.
Where
Probably two.
the basketball courts are?
Yeah, back
Okay.
down there and just reorganize a little bit. I think it would work out fine.
We have 3 now.
We have the two
So
that they
we
bring.
Further down.
Yeah, the way they talk about go further
And-
down with
Yeah,
the basketball
Make
courts.
them more permanent. So
Okay.
this craze that you've created in the
Mhm.
village, we have, it's all week long,
I would love it. I would
Yeah.
love it.
We'll have such fit people living in the village of
good.
Buchanan.
I have to tell you, I got to play last week and I went home aching because every part of my body was hurting, but I felt really great. I felt like I had done something positive for my body.
No, it looks like it's a lot of fun.
It is, and you make friends. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
tell you psychologically what it does for you, right?
Yeah.
You build a community, and that to me is very important.
You ought to try it, Dan. Make some friends.
You guys when your eyes get better, Anthony, you got to come out.
Well, just to piggyback on what Anthony said, if we move them at the further end of towards where the basketball,
Could you fit
Nets
3
off.
down there?
I think we should move them anyways. I think they're really unsafe.
So the one.
I mean,
That's
those
what
baskets are right on the edges of the
Yes, they are.
pavilion like this.
Um,
And
When you go make a layup, you break your ankle.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we never played it when we were kids, Anthony. We went-
No, I did it when I was a kid. I
Oh,
used
so
to
you
play
know.
down there.
So, at the same time, maybe move the baskets a little further in
Mhm.
another spot in the pavilion too and make it more playable,
Or, I see down by the lake down there, they have a small basketball court that's always used.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's,
I'm just thinking maybe just do, it's up to the board. Well, pickleball on the inside and the basketball courts could go over to the tennis court.
well, you can do that where we have a big enough facility there where it's underground. Kids want to go there and not be in the rain and they can play, play with, when it's
Right.
raining too.
Yeah.
But, I
Right.
mean, that one down for a plank years ago was packed all the time and they put the new one in and it's still very busy down there now.
Yeah, it's always, that's where they will go to play. I just think it's great that the pavilion's actually getting utilized and
Oh,
used.
definitely.
I mean,
I agree.
Good to see people out and about.
So that's just another.
So
thing.
we have to
I-
keep coming up with ideas to get
yes,
the residents
I
out.
agree. I think
So what's
that-
next? Salsa? Salsa lessons?
think Lisa had.
Okay, so what we need to do, we need to make an.
Lisa, do you have
a
a
motion.
pickleball question?
Oh,
Come to the mic. Come to the mic.
Yeah.
okay.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Lisa.
Usually the pavilion is closed during camp.
Yes.
So if you want to put the pickleball, there's gonna be most of the summer won't be able to be used.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So-
correct.
That's
And the
true.
tennis
Forgot about
courts too.
camp.
The camp uses tennis, the old tennis courts too.
Right,
Yes.
so.
What are they, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Six
Camp?
weeks.
6 weeks.
6
Yeah.
weeks.
Okay.
And
Just
that's
so you
at the
know.
heart of the summer though. So
Yeah.
he's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll have to be pickleball.
After 3:30.
Maybe we'll have to have a break.
Yeah.
Pickleball break.
Oh, they could go in the evening.
And the weekends,
Yeah.
Or it's a good way to transform the.
during the week.
Oh, they
it's-
keep it closed?
Oh, because she leaves the equipment out there. That's right. She's
Yeah.
right.
Or they have the equipment.
But it's a good way to
Table
transition
section.
into utilizing the pavilion for something post camp, right? So you start the pickleball season right after camp and let it go through to the fall and
Mhm.
leave the stuff that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
about
think
the, what were the tennis courts? We can't play there in the summer?
Not when camp was there.
They use that part
Yeah.
also. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that will be taken down to camp.
All right. So then that's something to think about.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so so just so we know, you're looking for $2,700?
Yes.
More, okay, so are you comfortable doing a resolution or no?
A resolution?
Doing a motion, I'm sorry.
I could try a motion.
Okay, all right.
So I'm making a
Sorry.
motion to have the board consider funding $2,700 for two additional pickleball clinics that will include a free preteen clinic. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
All right.
Thank
I've been
you.
practicing.
Good, good.
And thank you for putting this on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, that's no problem. Usually, like I said, we get into a discussion, at a workshop, but then again, we discussed a few other things.
Okay.
So whenever we need to discuss, we discuss.
Oh.
Okay, so where are we? Let's see, information from officers and departments. So the Justice Court report for July 2024 is $3,754. Police report, July 2024.
Okay, let's see. The police had 202 total calls, 50 of which were moving summonses. Out of those 50 moving summonses, there were 10 for speeding and 10 for disobeying the traffic control device. They had 10 alarms of other types, 27 property checks. There's a whole vast array of things that they have done here. So I'm just highlighting a couple of those there, a couple of bigger ones. And they had 10 medical aid calls. And that's all I have with that.
All right, thank you. Next is highway report.
Good evening, July 2024 monthly report. 86 tons of garbage, 21 tons of bulk and dumpsters, 11 tons in dumpsters only. The total garbage for July is 120.24 tons. Highway was busy mowing lawns, cutting the weeds, pulling weeds, sorry. Doing the ball fields, had the wood chipper out. They did a lot of maintenance on the pool. They fixed a lot of the vehicles. And in our packet here, there are pictures. What I also spoke about at the last meeting was the project on the digital sign, how well it came out. And the reseeding and everything looks great. And I want to commend them on a great job.
And there's been a lot of weeds this year.
Yes.
Thank you. Wastewater plant, treated wastewater, 6,829,000 gallons, sludge removal, 71,500. 6 lab reports submitted, Westchester County and DEC, and things are looking good over there. Building department. Peter left?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it still me, I guess?
It's still you.
Okay. The department for the month of July, they've issued 12 permits. They have 20 inspections that are required for newly issued permits. They have 18 inspections on file for permits and compliance inspections. They issued 5 COs, certificate of occupancies, and they're always busy doing fire inspections and whatnot. So that's the building department report.
Okay, thank you. Buchanan Engine, July 2024. EMS Assist 8, automatic alarms detectors 5, public assist 1, 5 mutual aid, and 1 motor vehicle accident with 20 alarm calls altogether. And I just want to mention to the board, the fire truck is coming along, right, Bob?
Yes,
The new fire truck.
Ahead of schedule from right there.
Oh, wow, great. And then we have a inspection. The board's invited. I don't know if anybody's gotten the invitation yet for October 4th. So if you haven't gotten the invitation, the details will be out shortly. Let's see. Prosecutors report? None.
Yeah, try and make it.
Attorneys report? Stephanie is not with us this evening. Administrators report.
Just a couple of quick things. As we discussed prior, the grant for the boiler is still up in the state. They have not released the funds yet. The boiler should be done within the next 2 weeks. The good news, the project will be done. Thank God we have money in fund balance, but we've been paying that money out of fund balance, and we'll recoup that when that money comes back. So the boiler is almost done. The good news, but the grant money has to be received by the village. A somewhat important aspect for cybersecurity. As we know, we have a .com account for email on our website. We've been with the municipalities are now it's required to change to a .gov account. So we're in the middle of changing our domain name, email addresses, all that has to be changed. It's going to be buchananny.gov. Westchester County changed it, and some federal or state agency, including the county, said they would not communicate with the local municipality unless we have a .gov account for security purposes. So just want to let you know that's going to happen. It's going to be seamless. Your old emails will still work. The website will still work. By little, we're going to transition to a .gov account. So what's going to happen when you send emails out, it'll be .gov. But if somebody sends you an email about .com, it'll be transferred over to .gov, and then little by little we'll switch everything over. So the transition, like I say, it's going to be an easy transition, but want to make people understand that we're going to have to change our email addresses and our domain on our website as well for security purposes, for cybersecurity. And it's also required part of our cybersecurity insurance as well. So I just want to let everybody know.
I was wondering where we were with that process because I've seen other municipalities have the .gov. So,
Correct.
all right,
Correct.
good.
We had to get federal approval for that as well. We just got it. So
does that give us access to like their firewalls and their security? Is that the purpose of it?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. If we don't have that .com, we will not be able to communicate with outside agencies.
Yeah.
So the good news, we got the approval and we're moving forward with that one. So I'll give you more information as things transgress, but we're very close to getting that completed. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I'm next. Let's see. Buchanan Day is September 28th. The Buchanan Running Club race, like I said before, starts at 10:30. Buchanan Day starts at 11 and it'll be till 3 o'clock. This year we have 6 String Country. We have other entertainment. We have food. The food is free. The fire department cooks up the hot dogs and hamburgers, and I'm sure Sharon will be there flipping the burgers. No, she's not going to flip the burgers. You're away, really? Oh, that's nice. Good. And enjoy. And then the police department gives away ice cream. So it's always a fun day. The community comes out. People get to meet each other, which we have a lot of new people here in the village. So it's nice to see the new people coming out too. 9/11 ceremony is scheduled for 9/11 that day, and it's at 4 o'clock. If the weather is okay, it'll be at the Croton Landing. Inclement weather, it's at the Harmon Firehouse in Croton. So that's an annual thing. And this year, 23 years. So every year there's been a ceremony, and it's really a beautiful ceremony. Field of Flags, I see the DAB is wanting people to do a Field of Flags. We've talked about this before. Bob Ferguson was one of the people on the committee. But I'm hoping we'll have some flags up. I'm going to order a couple of different kinds of flags, flagpoles, to see what would work. And I know, Anthony, you were talking about a sleeve, so I don't know. We need, because they do have these, they have some of them that have prongs. Have you seen them, Bob? They have like little prongs that go in the ground, but I don't know, with a tough wind, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
you could put sleeves in the ground and just put them in, take them out if you wanted to, or leave them in.
Yeah, yeah,
Just PVC sleeve, that's all it is.
yeah. Oh, just the PVC?
That's all it is, yeah.
All right, okay. So at the workshop, we'll discuss that more.
I'll give you a hand with that.
All right,
Sure.
good, good. And then what I was like to do, so, we have to figure out everything, but I think if the families could donate a plaque for it, and we just have to figure how to put it on there, how it goes on. So it'll go up on Veterans Day, it'll go up on Memorial Day, and probably July 4th, those days. So we'll talk about the placement of, originally I thought right down the sidewalk, but now that we have that sign, it's going to block the sign. So maybe just on the whole area behind the sign might look nice. But I thought, with the families donating a plaque, what their rank was, and, might be nice. So, there's different types of plaques. We don't have to go with, the brass. There's different acrylics and things that would probably work. And since it's not going to be out the whole year, I think something like that'll work.
And then what? We retain them?
Yeah.
We have a place to store those? Garage
Probably
there?
hopefully in the garage.
Okay.
If not, we're going to put them at your house, Dan.
Oh, not my house. My garage is packed. You don't want it all.
You don't want to see my garage either. Never mind. We'll find a home. We'll find a
That's a
home.
great idea.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing. And I don't know if anyone has heard, I just want you to be aware. There's a ADU, accessory dwelling unit policy, and the town of Cortland is one of the communities. And it's called, I'll get you more information. It's called Plus One. It's a $125,000 grant that the state has to construct an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. It's for eligible income residents, and it's to house family members, age in place with supplemental income. But I just think everybody should be aware of what's going on in the state and what they're doing with housing. So I just want to mention that and put that out there. Dan, what do you have for us this evening?
No, I just wanted to say that I'm glad we came to a resolution to put that handbook in play. I think that was important, especially with some of these issues that I see on a daily basis. That ADA, I see lawsuits all day long with it. So, I mean, I think this was, us working together as a board and getting that into play was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to reiterate the Economic Development Committee. Had one more person come up and approach me tonight before the meeting that wants to be on the board. So right now I have 4, and my intent was to wait until David got back from vacation and get the other stuff behind us. And then I told David I would be reaching out to him. So thus far I have John Bell, Steve Laker, Eileen Absinger, and Lisa Wetz. So
Good.
I'm looking forward to working with them on it.
Anthony in the shades, what do you have for us?
Yo. So, yeah. Wow. My eye really itches. So I want to just touch base on with the pickleball with Wilda. Great job. I really appreciate that. I mean, I've heard, around the village that it's fun. Like, the people are having fun. It's good that people are getting out and utilizing the pavilion. That's what it's there for. So good job on that. And looking forward to maybe one day getting Steve Laker's dream of having pickleball courts in the village. So that would be great. Another thing is the Buchanan Day. Teresa, good job on that. I know that you asked for some help on things, but everybody is booked that day.
Yeah,
And-
I have another company I've contacted, so.
Yeah, no, my
Busy.
resources were already spoken for, so
But thank you for checking.
I know you have been hard at work at that and good job on that. And the fall season is coming and it is a great season to be outside. So get your kids out there. School's open, drive carefully. Started today. I spoke last week about our giveaway, which Eileen has asked me about as for school supplies and Wilda. You were there, and I thank you for helping us at Mount Carmel for doing that. I don't really know. I was working. I wasn't available. Steve Laker was there and his wife as well, and I thank him as well too. It seemed to be a positive thing.
Was it a big turnout? Did you get
Yes.
a lot of people? Yeah, good.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
good.
great.
That's
Supplies
good.
were almost gone.
Yeah.
Nice for the community.
Wow.
Good.
So it looks like moving forward next year, if we can get that out a little sooner. Instead of a week before, that we could probably make something really nice out of this. And also, as I looked over at a Wilda, I see Teresa has the Examiner.
Yeah.
And on the front cover of the Examiner, it explains AMS's project in Yorktown, how they are pushing for the 55 and older as well. It is the same that they gave us. It's on the front page of the Examiner. So any community member who has not listened to last week's workshop or has any questions, pick up the Examiner. It's exactly what they told us last week. It's exactly what it says in the front page of the Examiner. To educate yourself on why the transition from regular units to 55 and older. I read it. It's good. It's good just to help out with what's going on. So, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Bob, what do you have?
I don't really have too much because everyone kind of
Oh, so next
already
time
said,
I'm
you
gonna
don't have to
hit
start with me,
first.
but anyway, just to follow up what Anthony said, school is open.
Mm.
Be careful of the kids on the roads. Watch out for the buses. Stop behind them. Don't pass them. Every year you see these things on TV where people are just blowing by these buses. Kids are almost getting hit. So just pay attention to what's going on out there. I do have a question for Marcus regarding these telephone poles on Walby Post Road that have been replaced. And I think they're still along Lindsay Avenue, still not replaced. It's really dangerous. I'm sure Steve sees it when you come out of Catherine Street.
Yeah,
There's 3 or
blind
4
spots.
telephone poles right there.
Yeah.
Your site's restricted really, really bad. Something bad's going to happen.
It's a story. Let me tell you the
But
story.
because, they got there. I know I was
It's
wasn't able to
insane.
get down, and I've had some conversation with some of those guys myself saying this has to get done.
It's been going, Teresa's been on the phone with everybody, so have I, the Public Service Commission.
Yeah.
Best is down to,
Is it
Con
Best?
Edison is done with their utilities.
Are they done? Because, okay, so here's what happened. In July, I was working with this guy. His name was Trey. He retires in the middle of all this. And I mean, he was on top of stuff. He was excellent. I haven't heard from the new person, but what he told me, what they were waiting for is there were some, I guess the best way I can explain it, like a trunk line that had to be taken care of in a few places, and it was Con Edison.
They're done.
They're done. Okay, good. So now the next step is they go from the lowest or the highest. So it's Best Web. Best Web is big. So it's all communication lines that have to be transferred over. The guy I was working with told me that within 30 days when they're notified, they had to move the lines. So this has probably been 5 months now. So I will get on the phone with the new guy tomorrow and put some fire under him. I'm sure he's kind of overwhelmed.
Teresa,
with
I'll
what's going
email
on.
you. I got an email from Best Web.
Oh, okay.
They transferred it to their manager to see when they could do it. Verizon said if when Best Web changes,
Okay.
then Verizon will move.
Yeah,
the
there's
case.
a process.
Pecking order, yeah.
that's
So
So I'll send you the email. I just got it.
going on.
Just got it yesterday from the
Yeah.
Best Web.
Oh,
people.
good.
I'll
Good.
send you that one.
So at
Web
least
still in
they're
business?
moving.
Best Web is still in business.
Yeah, they got Tangled. They're not
Yeah,
called
it's
Best Web
another
anymore. They're called something else. They got Tangled, but
Yeah.
it's still the same
But this
company. Yeah.
has been going on for a long time,
Yes.
longer than
It's
5
been-
months when they first made this.
It's
first
been going on
project,
for almost,
first put these
what,
poles up.
it's the 2 or 3 years now.
There's polls that have been up for 5 years that haven't been
Yeah,
switched
exactly.
yet, and
Yeah.
they're all Verizon polls.
Correct, over Verizon.
Yeah, so just the transfer of the other utilities have to be swapped, but they're not doing it.
That's correct.
Exactly.
So there is somebody with the PSC that's what that guy Trey, he was with the PSC and he just tells me he's retiring the end of July. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's not good for us. So I do have
Well,
the contact.
I know it's not the
information.
first time they've been contacted about it, because Marcus and I talked about it when I was still the foreman.
Yeah.
And, you know, I keep looking at the intersection of Cortland or Catherine Street and Albany Post Road. And it's really, you have to get just right spot with your car
Yeah.
between the poles. And even then, it's not that safe.
Yeah, blocks the intersection.
yeah.
All right.
And that's all I have.
I will get back to.
Except for,
the
you know,
board on that.
Will is doing a great job with the pickleball. I went
Yeah,
down
it's
there
fun. It's
and
good.
I saw her start to play a little bit herself. She tried to convince me, but I wasn't prepared to play.
Oh, okay.
You
Next
had-
time,
You
Bob.
had a full day of golf.
Yes, you're right. I was busy swinging a different club.
Oh, Wilda, what do you have for us?
Same thing, you know, everyone knows my push right now is pickleball. After this, I intend to have a meeting with the superintendent, since I'm the liaison to the schools, to see how I can support the schools. I've already reached out to the superintendent. I'm waiting for him to respond. And ditto to what everyone else said.
Comments from the floor? No comments? Okay, I'd like to go into exec, Marcus, you have anything exec session?
No.
I mean, it's very quick, it's negotiation, so thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, people, I just got a text, they couldn't see you, but pocketbook for that.
Oh, they wanted-
We're over now.
Oh. I'm
All right,
sorry.
thank you, everyone. Have a great Buchanan evening. Can I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss negotiations?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.